Starting our list off at number 10, the Red Door. Okay, if you're a fan of Haunting of Hill House, this first one here should tickle your fancy. Here we go. I'm terrified already. This is some hospital footage because, you know, why not? This video starts off with a flickering light, but as the person filming walks down the hallway, the door at the end begins to open and close repeatedly. Like this. Check it out. Now, once they reach said red door that was opening and, you know, slamming shut, they realize nothing is there and it doesn't really go anywhere. The door just leads to pipes, like water supply pipes in case of emergencies, you know what I mean? So they're inspecting it to see what have caused the opening and closing when they began to hear banging coming from another door further down the hallway. And then, of course, like Looney Tunes, they go and check out that one as well. When they check it out, they find nothing and nobody. Honestly, you guys, when I saw the door at the end, when it didn't lead anywhere, I was upset. I was like, oh, someone's faking it. Maybe someone's there, you know, doing something on the other side. Nope, just terrifying. There we go. Number 9, historic home tape. No, not one of those home tapes, you freaks. That's enough.
Oh my god! Did you see that? Oh, no, I'm not going back.
I'm not exactly sure what happened or who these people are, but something's going on in here. You know what? I'm tapping out. Let's move on. Number 8, Barton Mansion Ghost. This video is from 2001. Somebody explored through the Barton Mansion in California because, like I said earlier, some people like doing that for some reason. This mansion is said to be the home of tons of sinister happenings, satanic rituals, paranormal activity. It's even said that a demon haunts the top floor. It's kind of cool though, demon haunting the top floor. He's like, I shot to the top bunk, and then just floats around. It's said that the night before this video was taken, a group had broken into the abandoned basement, and there they found a creepy configuration of stones surrounding a piece of meat. They came back the next day to take some more video footage of the place, and the part of the video that I wanted to show you is basically a first-person view as somebody explores through said mansion. And it's when they spot something that none of us wanted to see, and that's when all hell breaks loose. Here we go. What exactly did he see there? I have no idea. If you have any ideas, put in the comments down below because I won't be able to sleep. Great. Number 7, clown sightings. This footage comes again from another home surveillance camera, and I feel like these things always catch the creepiest happenings. I just did a doorbell camera video where the dude's licking the guy's doorbell. That's the worst thing I've seen in ages. This time, when the homeowner went to check their footage, they were greeted by an extremely creepy clown. Yeah, I'm not sure if you remember years back when there was like a clown craze. Everyone just wanted to be clowns for some reason and hang out next to the highway. That was weird. I'm hoping that's where this video comes from, but again, there's no explanation, so we just gotta dive in and wonder.
Grabs a pumpkin and then tears it apart. The clown stares awkwardly at the camera before disappearing into the darkness.
I like that the reporter commented that the clown looked awkward at the camera before leaving. Yeah, awkward. That's for sure the word I would use for this encounter. Awkward. Not terrifying. Number 6, Blockbuster Ghost. Oh, a classic. For those of you who don't know, before the age of streaming and, you know, LimeWire, Netflix, all that amazing technology, we had to go to a store with our legs and our families. We had to put on our winter coats to go rent a movie. And sometimes we got there and there was only widescreens left of said movie. That was always the worst. You're like, I guess. I would go in and hide a video sometimes, and then come back with my family, we'd find it, and then rent it. Now, as many good memories that rest there in Blockbuster, there's also some haunting ones. This surveillance camera footage shows an employee, after closing, restocking some of the shelves in the store, and then they notice something flying off one shelf while they're stocking it. And when he finishes stocking one shelf, he moves on to the next, but one video on the shelf he just worked on immediately falls off. Okay, maybe he put the video on the shelf in a, you know, awkward angle. It wasn't a tight 45, maybe it was one of those and it kind of slipped down. It happens. But when he walks away, it flies off the shelf again. Now at this point, I would have already dipped, I would have signed out, maybe even quit my job, who knows. But he goes back, picks the video up, and he walks away again, but this time a video on the other shelf falls down right in front of him, and then as he reaches to pick that video up, another video falls, and then a third one falls. And then he understandably runs off after that. That's just, yeah, to be honest, at that point, I would leave. I would leave after the first video fell, if I'm being honest. Number 5, witch caught on tape. I am terrified of witches. I don't like this one. Okay. This video comes from Mexico and it's said to be a sighting of a witch flying through the air. I love this video. I saw this long before I started working here and it's been rent-free, just sitting right in there. I don't like how slow she's going too. Like, she's not in any rush. The people who recorded the video said they could see the figure wearing a cape, which is why, of course, we all assume that it's a witch. And also, she's flying through the air, so there's that too. Just to add another layer of to this already kind of weird video, police officers from the area also explained that they had seen some sort of witch-like creature before this footage was even captured. They said they saw some sort of creature dressed in all black with huge claws, and it had their head hanging down low. Like, imagine a police officer, I'd be like, what, go get that thing then. What are you talking about? Is that a gargoyle? I've seen Lord of the Rings. Can we close the city? That's terrifying. That's a demigorgon. Number 4, creeper in the back. Not creeper in the front. That's a different video. This is creeper in the back. Here we go. With so much of the world working from home and needing to do Zoom calls all the time, and now we're just comfortable and no one wants to go back to the office, so we're just gonna keep doing it forever, I guess. After you see this clip, you're gonna be looking over your shoulder every time you're in a meeting in the future. Yeah, you don't want anything like that creeping around your house at any point. When you're looking or not looking, honestly. The sad part is that guy looked like he was having a good time. Maybe he got a promotion on this Zoom call, you know, whatever was going on. He was loving it until, you know, the scary demon apparatus cloud monster thing appeared, of course. Then it kind of went downhill. Now I don't know what the aftermath is of this video, so if you want peace or sleep tonight, I can't help you. I'm not the guy for you. I just report the videos and go, that's scary, next. Number 3, the clip. This is a video that's titled Clip 95 MP4, and after watching it, honestly, I'm good with the other 94, to be honest. I wish I could explain to you guys what's going on in this video, but again, like the rest of them, I have no idea. That's why I included them. They're really baffling. It's a weirdly put together VHS tape, montage, whatever, that features some strange looking people in masks, a weird thing that maybe looks like a clock, and then a whole bunch of, it's just bad vibes. You know, Chris, just bad vibes going on. It's just not the mood for us. I don't know what's going on, but I don't want to find out, again, like the rest. I don't know what's going on with the clock symbolism here either. It's very specific. I feel like I'm late watching this video. Like I have like the anxiety going on now. Number 2, the chair. Not to be confused with the WWE wrestling move, the chair. This is way less fun, this one. I grew up watching the big comfy couch. I love comfy couches and comfy chairs. I'll sit on both all day long. A rocking chair as an adult, I'll be asleep in minutes. I love this. Except for when it's haunted and it just rocks by itself. Then in that case, I don't want to buy that, no thank you. This is a video of exactly that. It's a chair that is said to have been purchased, used just a couple of days prior, and let me tell you, I hope they kept a receipt. My grandma had a rocking chair, and she said that it would move on its own from time to time. Isn't that terrifying? My grandma told me that when I was like 8. And finally, number 1, VHS for sale. This VHS tape was found at an estate sale that was being held in a barn. Now the person who uploaded this tape found them in 10 boxes that they had purchased, amongst, you know, other things such as records, rusted tools, old paint cans, just borderline garbage, and they're like, ah yes, I'll paint it a different color and sell it for $1 more. And then, you know, sure. This video shows somebody walking through some sort of mildly wooded area in the daytime, which, okay, yeah, fine, that's all great and dandy, but then it cuts to a night scene immediately, and that's when the uncomfortable feelings start to rise up. That's when I feel like I'm gonna throw up on my keyboard watching this video. I have absolutely no idea what the white thing being dragged is, but hey, guess what? I don't want to find out. There we go. What a fun list that was.
In our number 10 spot, we have Nessie is real. Okay guys, the Loch Ness Monster is real. At least that's what I think after watching this recent video shot from the air, looking down upon the water. There is literally a long neck looking dinosaur in the water, and it has to be Nessie himself. Herself? Is Nessie a girl? This is definitely some footage that has been buried deep by the governments of the world, including the FBI. And why, you may ask? Damn, I don't know. Perhaps the discovery of this ancient creature could mean that there's more magical creatures out there. It could mean that there is a portal to a new world in the lake. Or perhaps it means that the wizarding world of Harry Potter is real. Anyways, this video I think is substantial proof that the cryptid that is known as the Loch Ness Monster is in fact real. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that like button, as it really helps us out. In our number 9 spot, we have the Deep Sea Cryptid. Okay, this footage blew my mind when I saw it. I personally think this is proof of yet another mythical ocean creature slash cryptid that we are unaware of yet. The ocean is so big and mysterious, I bet you even mermaids exist. In August of 2018, the Japan Agency of Marine Earth Science and Technology, when they found something in the waters of Sagami Bay near Tokyo. A big creature with big glowing eyes and a gaping mouth. Now at first it appears to move, but as the camera gets closer, it appears to freeze in place. And so, since we don't see it move much, some people say that it's an illusion of a creature and that it's really just a rock that looks like it has eyes, as humans have a tendency to see faces in inanimate objects. But what if it's a creature that became aware of the fact that it was being watched and so it froze to look like a rock? This creature legit looks like it stepped right out of Monsters Inc. I don't know. Anyways, this footage could be nothing, or it could be everything, and that's why it's possible that it's being marketed as possibly nothing. In our number 8 spot, we have the hide behind. I had no idea what this was before I researched this video, but apparently there is an ancient creature known as a hide behind. And these creatures used to hide in forests and were nocturnal, and they would prey upon humans that wander the woods, such as lumberjacks. They are said to be able to conceal themselves. The creature quickly hides behind an object so it's not directly seen. This is how it's able to attack human prey, by stalking them from afar and not be seen. Anyways, now that you know what a hide behind is, this video that was captured by a grandmother certainly shows a creature that looks just like a hide behind. A shadow, if you will. If this video was not staged, and it is real, like they claim, then I definitely think this is proof of some kind of hide behind or mythical creature. Perhaps it's Bigfoot, but certainly this shadowy figure doesn't seem completely normal. In our number 7 spot, we have the Kraken. The giant squid known around the world as the Kraken is an enormous squid-like sea monster originally from Scandinavian folklore. People believe tales of the creature were created after fishermen spotted giant squid out on the water. Anyways, recently something very mysterious was discovered when zooming into the middle of the sea on Google Earth. A strange, large creature that appears to light up and looks to be very large and is creating a wake. Google Earth's measuring tool has shown that the wake is over 250 meters wide. This picture has surely had the FBI concerned, as the internet has been going crazy trying to figure out if that's a kraken, an ancient dinosaur-like fish, or an alien craft that perhaps crashed into the water or is in the water. Without a doubt though, there's something mysterious going on there. Where is the light coming from, my friends? My vote is for alien craft. That makes more sense in terms of where the light is coming from. In our number 6 spot, we have the alien sea creature. This may be our biggest piece of proof that aliens might live underneath us or in the water. This video captured from a Brazilian beach was buried deep online, probably by the FBI because of its mysteriousness. It showcases a very strange looking creature in the water that looks just like every picture of an alien that I've ever seen. Ever think about where we originally got our idea for how aliens look? Yeah, well, probably from meeting them, or possibly from seeing creatures like this. This creature looks like it has arms and legs and is just walking around the shore and isn't seemingly looking threatening, just going about and doing its thing. It was described as a jellyfish-like monster. If that isn't an alien, then please explain to us what that is. Conclusion? It's an alien sea creature. In our number 5 spot, we have the baby dragon. A video was shot showing a creature in a pond that literally looks exactly like the ancient Chinese dragon that we see in folklore. Or they look like Khaleesi's dragons when they were babies. Game of Thrones, anyone? Anyways, this video is wild. Very, very strange. This creature is exactly like every image of a dragon that I'm sure you've ever seen, and it is just swimming around in the water. Dragons are so embedded into many cultures, and over many civilizations people believed in dragons, and so it just makes you think perhaps they were once real, or perhaps they are real. It's possible though that the old civilizations just stumbled across dinosaur bones that made them think fire-breathing dragons were real too. That's very possible. But in any case, this specific video hasn't been proven to be real, so it's possible that it's fake. But if it were to be real, I'm sure a narrative would be spun around it, because that would be a massive discovery that humans may not be ready for. In our number 4 spot, we have Bigfoot. Look, there are so many stories and supposed sightings of the Mudman, Bigfoot, and honestly, this one is the most interesting one yet. A trail cam was deep in the woods when it captured a giant creature walking through the wood. It might be behind a row of trees, but it is clear as day that this creature is big, whatever it is. It appears to have hands and feet. It doesn't move like a bear, it moves like an oversized human. So this could very well be the best footage of Bigfoot that I've ever seen. Apparently the people that took this footage tend to upload footage of animals and bears and have no drive to tamper with the footage, so a lot of people believe it to be real. Also, apparently after this they set up more trail cams in the hopes of seeing it again, but all of the additional cams went missing. Whoa, that's a smart Bigfoot right there, making sure to watch the humans and get rid of all the evidence. Anyways, I think this is definitely footage the FBI would be worried about, so they themselves could have destroyed the trail cams. In our number 3 spot, we have the Blue Mountains Panther. The Blue Mountains Panther is a creature from Australian folklore that is essentially a giant panther that lives in the mountains of Australia. This panther has had sightings for centuries, however Australia isn't known to have any kind of panther on the continent. Anyways, a picture of what looks like a giant cat-like creature, most likely a panther, was caught on camera, and it's had Australia in a tizzy. It's the Blue Mountain Panther, everyone thinks. It's clear as day that it's a cat-like creature and it looks like a panther. If it is not this mythical creature, then what is it? Would love to know your thoughts in the comment section below. In our number 2 spot, we have Sasquatch. This next footage is really interesting and something I know has been buried because of the sheer amount of people that can confirm its validity. While on a ski slope, a bunch of skiers had to stop as they appeared to see a giant in the woods. Everything you have ever heard about Sasquatch would describe what these people saw. Hairy, ape-like, living in the woods. The footage captured shows it trying to hide, but without a doubt it was seen by many, and that would certainly put a dent in the theory that Sasquatch is a mythological creature. Some people think that our human ancestors or relatives could have survived into the modern era, and so this creature could just be a human ancestor. If this is true, then 1, there must be 2 of them to have continued on the species like this, or 2, if there's only 1, is this an immortal human ancestor from centuries ago? The latter would certainly be cooler. We discovered how to fly in the sky. Perhaps we humans have discovered everlasting life and the general public just doesn't know about it yet. Side thought. In our number 1 spot, an elf. On a First Nation reserve in Saskatchewan, a strange creature was caught on camera that, quite possibly, the FBI doesn't want you to see. In the video, you see a creature go behind a large rock when the person recording the video turns their light on. It's kinda hard to make out exactly what it is. Some people think that it's an elf, or a fairy, or a wendigo. A type of shape-shifting creature that is evil. Honestly, I don't know what it is, but it appears to be some kind of mythical creature. People have been reporting seeing this monster for thousands of years, and so it makes you think that there might be something to this video, and it could very well showcase something no human has officially been able to confirm before on camera. I hope it's an elf. That sounds way better than an evil shapeshifter. If elves exist, they should just come and live among us. I bet you us humans would accept them. How could we not? They're so cute and cool.
Kicking off the list at number 10, doorbell lawn camera. We'll start with a recent doorbell cam recording, okay? Those are always terrifying. Every time I see one of these, first of all, I think of the Paranormal Activity franchise. I get so creeped out just looking at them. This video was submitted by Robert Parks. Now it shows the lawn, his front lawn, around 4 AM, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a naked man appears. That's always fun. Yeah, he was trying to cover up his, goods, or not goods rather, but given the fact that he was still, naked, it was pretty horrifying after the fact. You can't hear it because we had to mute the audio, obviously, but he's yelling about snakes being all over him. Yeah, luckily police arrived and gave the man the help he needed, but imagine somebody going through a rough time. Like, I feel bad, but you also have to stay safe at the same time. You can't have a naked dude running inside your home talking about snakes on a plane or whatever. Number 9, Bigfoot caught on tape. This video is said to have caught the Russian Bigfoot himself. Also, Russian Bigfoot, another Bigfoot, are there many Bigfoots? We'll talk later. The exact location of where this video was taken is still unknown. In fact, there isn't a ton known about this video at all, hence why it's on our list today. But what we do know is that it was taken somewhere in Russia and that people believe it captures the real Bigfoot. It's a short clip that captures him, so I'm just gonna show you guys and then you can decide for yourselves. Comment down below. I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence personally. If Bigfoot was real, it's time we pay up. I mean, come on. This man's image has been used in the media for years. How is he paying his bills? Also, is there one Bigfoot or multiple? Is there a Russian Bigfoot? Is there a Canadian Bigfoot? Is Chris the Canadian Bigfoot? I don't know. Maybe. He wears a lot of plaid, who knows? Number 8, Matt doesn't live here. Okay, this one I need your help on. There's a backstory that I need to figure out right now. Back in 2016, in the middle of an August summer night, this man approaches. Again, topless, always a great sign, just naked dudes approaching homes all of a sudden. And he's slowly approaching and he's looking back at somebody off camera. He has a look like he's about to rob the place almost. He's doing this. He's kind of tiptoeing in and out. It's not looking good. But instead of knocking and running like we all did when we were 15 years old, he pretends to knock. He knocks the air and then pretends to ask somebody who's not there if Matt is home. I don't know if he did this so the other person could see, maybe it was like a prank or a dare, or maybe it was an attempt to break in and we just didn't really connect all the dots, or he didn't follow through with the plan, or he chickened out, I don't know. Either way, I'm glad nothing really bad happened. So creepy, either way. Number 7, Milgram experiment footage. This video comes to us from the 1960s and it's apparently from the experiment known as the Milgram experiment. Basically, the premise was that they got two groups of people, okay? One called the teachers and one called the learners. And they paired them up, one from each group. So far, so good? Awesome. The pair couldn't see each other, but the teacher would ask the learner a question. The teacher was then told to give them an electrical shock. Yeah, every question made the shocks get worse and worse until an eventual fatal shock would be administered.
It'll be 195 volts. The correct one.
Let me out of here.
Slow.
Get me
Dance.
out of here. My heart's bothering me.
Now, before the experiment, it was proposed that only 3% of the participants would go all the way and would actually give the fatal shock. But it turned out that under pressure, 65% of the teachers actually gave the lethal dose of electricity to their learner counterparts. Now, luckily the students were actually just actors, so nobody was truly getting hurt here, hence the experiment. But it is honestly very creepy to see on footage. We always heard about this, but seeing it happen, it does something in here that I don't really like. Number 6, TV head. Stepping away from the worst of the worst, or the weird, or whatever's going on in that last video, let's shine the spotlight on some, I guess, creative happenings, dare I say? Like, for example, the guy wearing a TV on his head. Apparently, that's a thing now. Awesome. In Toronto, we have a guy that walks backwards around the city. And then here in Virginia, they have a guy who wears a TV on their head. So back in 2019, this man would appear all over in Virginia. He visited more than 50 residents in his time, and he would show up with a TV as a head, and then if that wasn't already creepy enough, he would leave an old TV on your doorstep in the middle of the night, and then just leave. That's so annoying to move. Also, it is pretty creepy. Many believe this man was inspired by the comic book series Saga. There's a race of TV alien heads. This could be a fan of, Prince Robot IV. Either way, this is annoying. You're walking on our property, you're leaving TVs. I wouldn't lift this up. Are you kidding? My brittle back? I couldn't lift a TV. I can't even lift a laptop now. Get out of here. Number 5, Salem Road. This video shows a couple guys driving in a truck down a road in what looks to be like a very rural area. It's not too bright or fun. Now they're just two guys being dudes hanging out, blasting some Coldplay, whatever you do with your dudes on the weekends. Now you know a little bit more about me. All of a sudden they come across a woman dressed in white walking down the middle of the road. So they turn down their Coldplay, probably, and they swear a bunch. Obviously they're in shock. Just a woman walking down in the middle of the road in what appears to be the middle of nowhere, and then all of a sudden these men driving up behind her. It looks bad from both point of views, know what I mean? They stop the truck and one of them gets out to go check on her to see if she's okay, because she's walking kind of, ghoulish. She's got like the ghoulish walk. Now the guy continues freaking out. He's telling them to get out of there, and the other guys don't believe him until they realize that seemingly out of nowhere this lady is now right in front of their truck. Awesome, we love phantoms. The video ends with this clip. I'm not sure who or what this lady was or what's going on here, but that's all I gotta say. One of these. Number 4, overnight break-in. This next found footage comes from a doorbell camera, one of my favorites, and it shows the terrifying moment a stranger begins trying to break into a woman's home. This is my worst fear, if I'm being honest here. She starts off by backing up and throwing her body into the window until it finally breaks. Now the stranger wasn't in any immediate danger or anything like that, but it does appear as though she may be a little bit confused about her whereabouts, which is obviously sad when you look at it. The woman whose home is obviously freaked out. More than fair. I mean, imagine this happening out of the blue, middle of Survivor finale. You're like, what's that sound? What is that? Yeah, that ought to be jarring. Eventually, a police officer showed up and spoke to the woman who claimed that her friend was in the house. Now, obviously, this was not the case, but this is why I believe she may have been a little confused as to where she was. In the end, it just so happens that alcohol had a little something to do with it, so everyone was okay. It was just a rough night. You know what I mean? Number 3. Chernobyl footage. Okay, this one comes to us from the later 1980s when there was a nuclear disaster in Chernobyl, obviously. I don't have to go into detail about this one. In April of 1986, there was an explosion and a fire taking place at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. This explosion happened when there was an issue and they were trying to begin an experiment which was set to actually make the reactor more safe, but in turn it didn't work out. Unfortunately, the way the reactor was designed placed too much responsibility in the hands of an operator. One thing led to another and it was this huge, tragic disaster. The amount of radiation in the air caused alarms at the Forsmark nuclear power plant in Sweden. Footage I'm about to show you is just a small glimpse into what things looked like soon after this took place. I can't imagine how scary this must have been for everybody involved. Even watching it is disturbing, to be honest with you. Chernobyl today is still pretty much a ghost town, but there are people who live there. Some of them never even left in the first place. Number 2, doorbell licker. And immediately back into the weird stuff. This was one of my favorites, I have to include it. This one's short and sweet, not much explaining to do here. Just a dude going up on a doorbell. Back in 2019, a man was caught on surveillance approaching a home in a neighborhood in Salinas, California. He doesn't say much, he just shows up and, well, like I said, starts licking the doorbell. Just goes to town on this button. Not the camera, the actual button, the actual doorbell itself. He rang the bell apparently hundreds of times. He did this for hours straight. Now the homeowner said in a following interview after seeing the footage, "Oh boy, that is weird." Yeah, see me, I would laugh hysterically and then after I'd be like, okay, we have to move. Number 1, overnight visitor. This video was taken from a surveillance camera that was placed inside of a couple's home. Yeah, inside, not outside, in. Having a camera inside of your home isn't too common, but sometimes you're lucky you have one. Like this example. These people had one because what it caught while they were sleeping is one of the creepiest things I've ever seen in my life. When the couple woke up one day, they were unable to find a purse that they knew was in the house before they went to go to sleep, right? They're like, well, this is pretty much is right there next to my chapstick. I know where my chapstick is. So they decided to check their handy security camera and this is what they found. As it turns out, the couple fell asleep on the couch watching TV, and as they were sleeping there, a man crept in and he was so quiet he didn't even wake them or their dog up. Yeah, he stood at the top of their stairs watching them sleep for a few minutes, which just adds another layer of, I'm gonna shit my pants, and then that's it, Bob's your uncle. I wouldn't even keep this tape, I would throw it out. This is cursed in itself. I'm glad the robber only took the purse and didn't do anything else. How scary is that?
Number 10, the forest creature. One trend in the GoPro community is to attach a GoPro to your pet in order to see their point of view of the world. This is especially popular for dogs as people will let them roam and then watch back the journey that they took. And that's what happened here, a GoPro attached to a dog freely roaming through the woods. But when the owner watched the footage back, they were shocked by what they saw. At one point in the video, you can see a large, dark, humanoid-like creature walking across the frame. It's very hunched over and seems to have long hanging arms, looking to be too big to be a human and a bit more animalistic in its posture. Many people who have seen this video believe that this is a Bigfoot sighting, though many note how the dog didn't seem to react at all to the strange creature in its path, so it must be fake. But hey, the dog and the Bigfoot might be friends. You don't know their story. Number 9, train tunnel. Now this one is not anything ghostly or mysterious, but instead just a terrifying experience that took place between one man and his friends. As a lot of teenagers do, they were walking along train tracks when they came across a tunnel. Following the tracks, they continued inside and were met with an incredibly long and dark journey ahead of them. As they moved through the tracks though, they realized they were in terrible danger. A light was at the end of the tunnel, but it was the light on the end of a train that was barreling towards them. The train was huge and the tunnel was narrow, meaning if they were caught inside with it, they would probably die. They make a mad sprint for the opening of the tunnel, fighting against the clock to try and save their own lives. Everything being captured on their GoPro in footage that looks straight out of an action movie. They make it out of the tunnel and only a second later the train goes whizzing past. Number 8. Lost at Sea. This one is similar to the last as it was almost the video documentation of someone's final moments alive. In this video, a man named Jake has become stranded at sea after scuba diving, drifting in the ocean for hours. He pulled out his GoPro camera in order to document his final moments, saying, "That's a wrap on old Jakey." He was forced to stay afloat for a total of 6 terrifying hours, even after the sun went down and drenched him in darkness. But he says that he wasn't scared in what he believed to be his final moments and said in an interview that he was actually just thirsty. It must be pretty terrible to be dying of thirst when you're surrounded by water, but you can't drink it. Fortunately for him, a plane was able to spot him thanks to the inflatable emergency marker that he was wearing on his back, and he was rescued after spending his terrifying evening at sea. It was in fact not a wrap for old Jakey. Number 7. Haunted House. Urban exploration is a very popular genre on YouTube, and I've often found myself binging the videos of people walking through abandoned homes or even theme parks. Well, these YouTubers were wandering through an abandoned house and supposedly haunted house when they caught something on camera that they definitely didn't expect. They're walking through the house and the viewer can see that it's clearly been empty for a while, in a state of disrepair with garbage and graffiti all over the floors and walls. It's dark inside the home and they have a flashlight on their GoPro as they move through the layout. They reach a corner when you can see an extremely dark, shadowy figure seeming to move around the corner and hide. While you might brush it off as just someone's shadow at first, it becomes scarier as you think about it more. The footage is coming from the front of the group, the flashlight attached to the camera, and you can see that there is clearly nothing in front of the light that would have allowed this shadow to be created. So did they manage to see a ghost or a demon in this house? Number 6. The Tunnel. This YouTuber decided to take a long walk down a dark tunnel because, well, who wouldn't? The tunnel was a large sewer drain that rumors said would apparently lead you to hell. So of course this man decided to take on the dark abandoned tunnel by himself, GoPro in hand, ready to capture whatever he might find. When he's walking though, he starts to hear strange noises, described as the sound of metal being dragged along the floor or the wall. This doesn't stop him though, and he continues moving forward, the footage looking straight out of a found footage horror movie. Some viewers of the video commented on the fact that the tunnel hadn't been spray painted or torn apart like many other abandoned places, throwing out the suggestion that this is because everyone was too scared to venture into the tunnel, even for a bit of easy vandalism. Not long into his journey, his battery starts to die, so he makes his way back to the exit, still hearing the sound of scraping metal. Number 5. Motorcycle Shadow. For the halfway part of this list, we are taking a look at another weird and unexplainable shadow, but this one took place in broad daylight. This person was taking a ride around town on their motorcycle when they realized they needed gas, and fortunately there was a gas station close by, so he pulled up, parking his motorcycle and getting ready at the pump. He's fumbling with his card when viewers can see the shadow of a person quickly walking by, reflected on the pump. The man on the motorcycle sees it too and whips his head around to see who's there, as the shadow appeared to show the person right behind him. But as he looks around, we can see that there isn't anyone even near him, and no one walking by in the distance who may have ran past. It's clear from the placement of the shadow that the person should have been close behind him, but nobody's there. Some people believe that it may be the shadow of a ghost or perhaps some other interdimensional being. Number 4. Creature. People don't just use GoPros to take videos of their daily rides on motorcycles, it's also incredibly popular to strap them to your helmet and film your trail on your bicycle, and that's exactly what this person did. They were filming their ride down a trail in their home village, preparing footage for their future video content. They then turn down a pathway that has tall walls on either side, when suddenly a strange creature jumps down onto the ground beside the bicycle. The man filming is shocked and stops, turning around to see that the creature is already gone. He said that he thought it was a dog, but on reviewing the footage it seems more like a monkey, him saying he believes it to be a hybrid between the two. He says that he was so shocked because it didn't make any sounds, even when it hit the ground. Viewers say that it doesn't appear to be a monkey and moved much too fast, disappearing way quicker than any normal creature. Do you think it's a monkey, or do you think it might be something more mysterious? Number 3. Zipline. We're back with another terrifying situation that I know would personally be my worst nightmare, and I would never want to be caught in it. These two people were ziplining when they stared down their potential deaths. They became trapped on the zip line when they discovered there was a knot in the cord and they would not be able to move forward any further, the clip being too small to go over it. You would never catch me willingly going for a zip line ride, but a zip line that looks like it's been tied together with a failed Boy Scout knot? No thank you. Watching the video is terrifying as you're able to see just how high above the ground these people are, and imagining yourself stuck up there is enough to get almost anyone scared. After continuously trying and failing to move forward down the zip line, they eventually make the decision to detach themselves and jump off. Don't worry though, they were equipped with a parachute and were able to make it to the ground safely. Number 2. Abandoned house. We're back to urban exploration again, this time at an abandoned house in my home country of Canada. Just like most abandoned locations and the last one featured on this list, the home was torn apart and vandalized, covered in garbage, rubble, and inappropriate graffiti. The people exploring the home were already put on edge by the dark and dilapidated atmosphere, but the more time they spent in there, the worse it got. They noticed that one of the doors in the home appeared to be opening and closing on its own, opening really wide before slamming against the door frame. They said that what they were feeling is unable to be conveyed through what you just see in the video, saying they felt like some dark presence was there with them and feeling more scared than they had ever been. When they looked behind the door that was moving on its own, it was clear that there was no one else within the home manipulating it, at least not anyone living. Number 1. Asylum guest. When it comes to urban exploration, one of the most popular destinations is old abandoned asylums. They are usually popular for their long and typically dark histories and the potential to find creepy artifacts within the walls. It's also believed by a lot of people that ghosts are born out of having a tragic death or unfinished business, something that would happen a lot at these now shut down hospitals. These YouTubers were exploring an abandoned asylum when they realized that they weren't alone, except it likely wasn't a ghost that was hiding within the walls. Despite there being no other cars around the building or other signs of life, they see someone standing beside a set of stairs, appearing to be on their cell phone as they were illuminated by the light of the screen. They try to communicate with the person, but he doesn't respond to them. Instead of sticking around to find out more like a proper horror movie protagonist, these guys cleared the area, leaving behind the asylum and the person who seemed to be living in the middle of nowhere.
Starting off this list in our number 10 spot, we have the Intruder. Of course, these guys think they're hilarious, and of course, this man is extremely upset, as I would be. But the man goes back inside his house, but these guys decide to try and trick the gang. But what happens next is what none of them were expecting.
Oh my god. What are we gonna... Get out, get out.
Of course, these guys just watched their friend basically get kidnapped, so instead of calling anyone, they go to investigate. They peer into the man's windows and head around towards the backyard before the man jumps out, and the video ends when it appears that he strikes the men with a shovel. This is another one where I'm not sure if this is real or not, but I hope it isn't. In our number 6 spot today, we have this doorbell footage. This next footage comes from a doorbell camera and shows the terrifying moment a stranger begins trying to break into a woman's home. She starts off by backing up and throwing her body into the window until it breaks.
You can see the intruder backing up and throwing the full force of her body into the window. It breaks. Then she pulls out the screen and reaches in. The homeowner screams.
The stranger wasn't in any immediate danger, but it does appear as though she may have been a little bit confused about her whereabouts, which is kind of sad. The woman whose home it is rightfully pretty freaked out and actually was a registered gun owner, so things really could have taken a wrong turn in this footage. Eventually, a police officer shows up and speaks to the woman, who claims that her friend is in the house. Obviously, this isn't the case, but this is why I believe that she may have been confused as to where she was. In the end, I am glad that everyone left this situation safely, but I am sure that everyone was a bit shaken up. In our number 5 spot today, we have the bear attack. This is footage that I will not be able to show you guys in this video, and I'm honestly not even sure if you'd want to watch it if I could. This footage comes from the camera of Timothy Treadwell, who is known as Grizzly Man due to his love of bears. The footage comes from a late summer day in 2003 when Timothy and his girlfriend Amy went out to study bears as hibernation season was just around the corner. The pair didn't return when they were supposed to, so an investigation and search party was launched to find them. Eventually, what was left of the pair, along with their camera, were found by authorities. As it turns out, they had been attacked and almost entirely eaten by a bear on this day, and their camera was running and recording during the terrible attack. Luckily, there was only audio, because I can't imagine anyone having to sit through a full video of such a gruesome attack, but the audio is just as haunting as you would assume it is. In our number 4 spot today, we have the Bradford City Stadium fire. On Saturday, May 11th, 1985, there was an English League 3rd Division match between Bradford City and Lincoln City, which took place at the Bradford City Stadium. Just minutes before the halftime mark of the game, a small fire was spotted in the stands. A man had lit a cigarette in the stands, and when he went to step on it to put it out, it fell through the stands. This small cigarette started a small fire that ended up engulfing the entire stadium in basically no time at all. The stadium was not built to resist the flames. In fact, a lot of the material used were highly flammable, which definitely made matters worse. It was an absolutely devastating day, and there is a video of the entire thing, but I'm just going to show you a clip from just the beginning where you can see the small fire starting.
And we've actually got a fire in the stand on the far side of the ground, and that looks very nasty indeed. Now the police have gone over there to try and quell the fire, and they're frantically getting some of the supporters out. Now these are extraordinary scenes at Valley Parade. It's supposed to be a day of celebration. One hopes the stand doesn't burn down.
This was just the beginning of what turned into a huge and deadly fire. In our number 3 spot today, we have this clown sighting. This footage comes again from another home surveillance camera, and I feel like these things always catch the creepiest happenings. This time when the homeowner went to check their footage, they were greeted by an extremely creepy clown. I'm not sure if you remember a few years ago when it became a trend to dress up as a killer clown to scare the heck out of people, but I'm hoping that that's where this video comes from, because that is the only explanation I want for this footage.
It's a scene straight from a horror movie, but it's right here in Jacksonville. A Springfield resident's surveillance camera caught this creepy clown on his porch. He grabs a pumpkin and then tears it apart. The clown stares awkwardly at the camera before disappearing into the darkness.
I like that the reporter commented that the clown looked awkwardly at the camera before leaving, because I think that the appropriate word is that the clown looked terrifyingly at the camera before he left. I could not imagine checking my footage and seeing this clown on my front porch. I feel like I would never sleep again. In our number 2 spot today, we have the Blockbuster Ghost. For those of you who don't know, before the age of streaming, we had to go to a store in order to rent videos. They're just guys being dudes hanging out until they come across a woman dressed in white walking down the middle of the road.
What the? That's a person. That is a girl. What the? It's wow. Dude, who is that? It's 31 degrees outside.
They're obviously really confused by what she is doing just walking down the middle of the road, and she seems to be unbothered by the men driving up behind her. They stop the truck and one of them gets out to go and check on her.
What the is he doing? Get the out! Go! Get the out! Go! What? Go!
The guy continues freaking out, telling them that they need to get out of there, and the other guys don't believe him until they realize that seemingly out of nowhere, this lady is now right in front of their truck. The video ends with this clip. I'm not sure who or what this lady is or what happened to these men, but it just does not look good.
Coming in at number 10, we have bubbles. A frozen bubble is quite the sight, and it can look eerily beautiful when they're discovered in large bodies of water. These bubbles were spotted in Canada's Abraham Lake in Alberta. At first, hikers on the frozen lake were totally baffled. It turns out that the bubbles are methane gas that were trapped as the lake froze over in winter. The problem is, come spring, these gases will emerge and the bubbles will go from being beautiful to deadly. Coming in at number 9, we have this pair of binoculars. This pair of slightly weather-worn binoculars were found after 86 years buried under ice. It's crazy how well preserved they are. All of the weather damage came from moments of thawing and then refreezing, but they still look so good. The binoculars were lost and found in the Swiss Alps along with the remains of 3 Swiss brothers who had been frozen while they were caught in a storm out on a hike. They were lost along with their equipment in a glacier for the best part of a century. A mysterious sight recently solved. At number 8, we have blood. Say hi to blood falls in Antarctica, probably the best visual metaphor for global warming. The glaciers are actually crying blood. No joke, this glacier is called Taylor Glacier, and these pictures are totally fulfilling all of my environmental look what you made me do dreams in the saddest of ironic ways. The bloody glacier was discovered in 1911, but it has got more dramatic over the years as the ice melts. Not actual blood, the fluid coming from the glacier is iron-rich hypersaline water. Can you imagine being Griffith Taylor, the Australian geologist who found this site? It'd be terrifying, even though it does have a logical explanation. Coming into number 7, we have this fish swarm. In 2014, an entire shoal of fish were found frozen on the coast of Norwegian island Luvund. The photographer discovered the group of fish when they were out walking their dog. The ice was so thick that it could be walked on, making a weird icy fishy pathway. It was thought that the fish had been frozen for a week or more, but how they managed to freeze this way is a bit of a mystery. Some are saying that they could have been on the run from a predator when chilling winds combined with low temperatures to create a really quick freeze. Either way, it's weird. Another frozen lake with an almost impossible sight at number 6, we have this totally translucent ice revealing a whole lake standing still in time. Frozen lakes are a common sight in cold countries, sure, but completely clear ice allowing you to walk on water / glimpse lake life totally stopped in time is actually a real rare mystery. What I mean is that ice will usually be kind of frosty, obviously no pun intended, but this is so clear it's like glass. The lake is in the Tatras Mountains in Slovakia, and it really makes you want to go. Okay, so as we are at the halfway point on our list, I thought we could have a little bit of fun for our number 5. Why? Because this story is so hilarious. We have a wedding ring found frozen in a curry. What? Honey, where have you put your wedding ring? I have no idea, I swear it was on my finger. It's a real mystery. Oh, there it is. It's in a curry that's been stored in the freezer for a year. Sure. Annie Robbs filmed her husband's hilarious reaction to finding a ring in her frozen curry as she was defrosting it. Her husband Chris thought that he'd lost it a year ago playing football, so it all came as a big surprise. Lo and behold, in the curry it was. Some questions as to who keeps a curry in the freezer for a whole year, but that aside, this is an incredible discovery and mystery solved. I guess the next mystery is how it got in the curry in the first place. Okay, very scary at number 4, we have viruses and disease. People start mysteriously getting ill and wondering why. Oh, well, it's just an ancient virus that has laid dormant under the ice for thousands of years, and because of global warming and melting ice, it's been unleashed again. Oh, and we have no modern cures. Hurrah! This whole issue came about when a 12-year-old boy died in 2016 after being exposed to thawed anthrax. This totally baffled locals who had no idea where it came from. It turned out that melting permafrost exposed it once again in the Arctic Circle. Now, we know anthrax, but it's what we don't know that scientists are losing most sleep over. The main worry is that further permafrost will melt across the world, unleashing, I quote, a Pandora's box of disease. Again, hooray! Coming in at number 3, we have volcanoes. Volcanoes! Under ice. How did they get there? In 2017, scientists identified over 90 previously undiscovered volcanoes under a huge sheet of ice covering West Antarctica. This is now thought to be one of the world's largest volcanic regions. With this discovery, it's clear that there is so much that we don't know about Earth before humans inhabited it. Coming into number 2 of our top 10 mysterious things found frozen in time, we have hidden treasure. That's my kind of mystery. Hello there, precious jewels. Where did you come from? A Mont Blanc climber found over $250,000 worth of jewels as he hiked on Europe's highest mountain. As he walked, he saw a metal box poking out of the ice. The box had "Made in India" engraved on it, and in the box he found emeralds, rubies, and sapphires. What a mystery! So it turns out that the box probably came from one of 2 Air India plane crashes that hit the mountain range in 1950 and 1966. Now these crashes killed over 100 people combined, so actually these are kind of sad jewels. Finally, at number 1, just taking a super quick flight of fancy, we have aliens, maybe.
we're not sure. It's a mystery. Two friends were walking on a frozen lake in Utah when they saw something really weird in the ice, and get a load of this, guys. Some people are saying that the patch of bizarrely melting ice looks like alien pods. The walkers shot some footage of the area, saying the creepy circle was around 5 feet in radius and that they thought that the ice looked like alien eggs. I really don't like little holes, so this makes me pretty uneasy, and I don't like this mystery. This mystery needs to stay really far away from me. Thanks.
Starting off in our number 10 spot, we have exit signs. This Backrooms footage has a date and time stamp of June 14th, 2007 at 9:23 p.m. and the video shows someone strolling through the hallways with only the sound of their footsteps to be heard. They come to a wall and they have the option of either turning left or right, and they choose to go right. You can see on the wall as they walk down the hall there are signs with an arrow that suggests an exit is that way, but if you know the Backrooms, you know to never trust an exit sign. They continue to follow down this path until they meet another fork in the road, but it appears as if at the end of each hallway there's a door. Could this really be the exit? As they approach the door, a sort of buzzing sound grows louder and louder, but when they reach the door, the tape cuts out. In our number 9 spot today, we have The Encounter. This video was posted on YouTube by Sobog, and it is short, but it really shows what the energy in the Backrooms is like. It shows a first-person view as they're in the back room with the ever-present hum of the lights, but something is off about this room. I mean, more than usual. And when they look up, they see that there's a panel in the ceiling that's off or crooked. As they turn around, they come to find out that this is only the beginning of their worries. Before long, it looks like the entire ceiling is coming down and the tape cuts out. This is presumably only one of the many horrifying things to occur in the Backrooms. Someone in the comments also noted how the camera doesn't pan down in the last second like it dropped. Instead, it goes up, almost like something yanked him up into that hole in the ceiling. In our number 8 spot today, we have Audio Missing MP4. This footage doesn't have any eerie, buzzy sound. In fact, it has no sound at all, but it's aimed at showing the transition from our real, tangible world into the world of the Backrooms. This person starts out in what looks like a grassy field, but at one point as they go to touch the grass, they sort of fall through and are now stuck in the fluorescent mono-yellow world. They start walking through the maze of rooms, but at some point there's a cut in the video and they aren't moving anymore. After a few seconds, it becomes apparent why. A tall creature walks into frame slowly. It likely already heard this person searching around, or maybe it even heard their fall into the Backrooms. Either way, just a couple seconds after this creature walks into frame, the camera shuts off. It's anyone's best guess as to what happened next. In our number 7 spot today, we have Backrooms After Hours. This is a video that might just show what would happen if you were to no-clip out of reality at night. This backroom footage is dark, which is quite a contrast to the mono-yellow tone we're used to seeing in the Backrooms. There is one light, however, and it's a sort of flashlight that whoever is recording is using to look around these dark rooms. The field of view is limited, which only adds an even eerier nature to this already creepy place. While watching this video, it definitely is a creepy experience. The good news is that there is no jump scare waiting to happen. Instead, in this video, the horror comes from just waiting and almost expecting one to come, but it doesn't. At least not in what we get to see. In our number 6 spot today, we have dancing. Considering the fact that the Backrooms are said to be approximately 600 million square miles, it is highly unlikely that you'll run into another person or creature, but when you do, you know it can't be good. This video starts off with the person recording creeping out from behind a wall. They see some kind of a thing in the Backrooms dancing. It's human-like, but definitely moves a bit strangely. They tuck behind the wall again before going out to capture the dancing creature once again, and that's where things take a bit of a turn. I can't do it justice by explaining it, you just have to see it for yourself. Listen, I know this is like the Rickroll of Backrooms footage, but I'd be lying if I said that this one didn't actually get me. I should have been expecting it, but I wasn't. That's what I get for diving into Backrooms content. In our number 5 spot today, we have the unprecedented events. This video starts off with a bit of background. It reads that the following footage was taken from a surveillance system on a blank date in the KV-31 Research Center Bay before an unprecedented event occurred. Any footage that came after after was either never recorded or was lost as other systems were nowhere to be found. Afterwards, it shows a room, but the video is clearly distorted, and then we get a small but terrifying glimpse into this unprecedented event. The audio and video gets really distorted before it cuts back to the blue screen with text. This time it reads, "As shown by this next piece of footage, parts of the research bay were later found spontaneously in completely disproportionate shapes and sizes at completely random locations. The reasoning for this entire occurrence is still unknown." After this, it cuts to a clip showing exactly that. Regular office items, but this time they're in the back rooms and they are strange. An office chair with weirdly long octopus legs, tables stacked on one another all the way to the ceiling. It's just very bizarre and very wrong. Let's just all hope that no such events ever take place, because that would be terrifying. In our number 4 spot today, we have the found footage. This Backrooms footage is definitely some of the creepiest that I was able to find. It starts off as anyone would expect: the hum, the bland lighting, the seemingly infinite rooms, but this one goes on to become a little different. As this person walks through the hallways, not only can we hear a creepy sort of distorted breathing sound, but they come to find out that they might not be as alone as you'd like to be when it comes to the backrooms. They eventually come across a room that is full of strange looking mannequins. Some are missing limbs, some are on the ground, some are just in strange poses, one even has a hand sticking out of its neck where the head should be. As the person continues to walk into the next room, here they are greeted with a gigantic worn down mannequin head. They stand there taping it in the room for a while, but right before the video cuts out, we hear whoever is taking the video gasp. Who knows what ended up happening to them? In our number 3 spot today, we have Where Am I? This video is done in the style of a phone screen recording as someone opens their camera to show where they are. Firstly, when they start screen recording, it then goes to their lock screen, which has quite a creepy and strange photo for it. Not really sure what's going on with that, but quickly they open the camera. Once the camera is open, they start showing us their surroundings, and it quickly becomes clear exactly where they are, and it's where no one wants to be. This video does a great job at showing sort of what it would be like should you find yourself in the back rooms with no prior knowledge of what they were. At first it may seem like a harmless place, but reality will soon set in. In our number 2 spot today, we have the pipe dreams. This found footage style video shows someone as they explore the back rooms. They're looking at pipes, there's a fire extinguisher, everything to convince you that you were in a much better place than you are, but before long, a very strange voice can be heard. When the camera turns around, we see some kind of an entity at the end of a long hallway, and it appears as if it's getting closer. Of course, the person behind the camera begins a slight panic. The camera turns away, but when it focuses back on the hallway, the entity is gone. The person filming begins to walk down the hallway because there really isn't anywhere else to go, and at this point, I was on the edge of my seat. They continue walking through this hallway that seems like it's never ending, and before long, the same creepy sound comes back. They start to run through this never-ending hallway, and when they turn around, the entity is back and only gaining on them. When they get to the end of the hallway, there's a door, but of course, this is the back rooms. That door is not gonna open, and now there is nowhere to turn. They turn around again, and the video ends with the entity continuing toward them. In our number 1 spot today, we have found footage number 2. Alright, there's no way that this would be a Backrooms video without some content from Kane Pixels themselves, the person who is credited with bringing this creepypasta situation really back to life with their terrifying footage. This video of theirs I want to talk about today is called Found Footage number 2. The video starts out with someone in their garage and there's a square taped to the floor. They show us that anything they place in this square disappears. They are shocked and they show us a few examples, but before long they find themselves falling into the square. They have now found themselves in the back rooms, but they obviously have no idea where they are. They begin exploring through the maze of rooms and they come across a series of weird things like disproportionate furniture and the like. Eventually they come across a car that looks as though it has crashed into a wall, and after this they see a handprint on the wall that looked like it could have been made in blood. They continue through the rooms and they only go on to get weirder until, of course, they come across a creature. From here, the chase is on, but if you know the back rooms, that is a losing battle.